watch, pay attention. That's what Jesus is telling us in the Holy Scriptures, according to Mark, the shortest gospel and the beginning of the new liturgical year. And we listen to Jesus inviting us to watch. But look around. It's already happening. It's already started. The craziness has started. The sales have started. The Black Friday sales that continue through the month have started. The invitations, the schedules, the parties, the shopping, getting ready. Watch. Really? What are we watching for? It would be interesting if Jesus showed up during this Advent season and observed us preparing and watching. Would he be happy with the Black Friday sales or discounts or special events or early opening stores or late evening hours? Is that what he would be happy with? After he gave us the scriptures and say, watch, be alert, you don't know when I'm coming back. I don't know if we'd find him there. Or would he be saddened to find out how we have or are preparing for his coming, his advent, his coming to us? Now, the media can supply us with very good information. Sometimes they'll give you those nice, heartwarming stories and bring a tear to your eyes, and they'll talk about families who rescued other families, and that's good. That's good that the media does this. Sometimes they limit that to Sundays. I don't know why. But they give you those little heartwarming stories to prepare us, but they also give us horrible stories of thieves and people stealing decorations and bombings. And so through all of that, Jesus is asking us, watch, be aware, be alert. Now, Isaiah did something like that with the media in his time. Isaiah is telling the people of Israel, you got to come back home. You know, the doors are open. Okay, Israel's destroyed, Jerusalem was destroyed, the temple's destroyed, but you're up in Babylon. Come on back, start building. And a lot of them refused. They refused to come back on. I didn't want to build. I'll stay up here in Babylon and be a pagan rather than come down and be observant of the laws of God. And he talks to God, Isaiah, the author. He's talking to God and he says, why do you let us wander? Why don't we fear you? Why do you allow us to harden our hearts? Now, that could be on the front page of any newspaper or any tweet or any Facebook. Why are you allowing this? Because we're blaming God. See, he's allowing all of the discounts and the sales and the parties and the alcohol and all that stuff. He's allowing us to do that. We got to take responsibility. And I think Advent is a season of that, of responsibility. Yes, it's a season of waiting to find the presence of God in our midst. Because that's the uniqueness about Jesus. He not only tells us to look around and prepare for the second coming, for the coming of the day of the Lord, but he's also, through his ministry, he taught us how to find him in our midst, how to find him with the poor, how to find him with the migrant, how to find him with that lonely person. And it's beyond us. You're not going to see that advertised. You're not going to see a sale on that. You're not going to see a Black Friday focus on reaching out to the poor as we prepare for the second coming of Jesus. The media doesn't do it, but Isaiah did it. And Isaiah calls our attention to it and says, listen, our God is beyond your expectations. No ear has heard, no eye has seen any God as our God. And the things he did for us, he probably said, oy vey, you can't believe the things he did for us. He brought us out of Israel, he brought us here, he brought us out of Egypt, he saved us, he sends us food. He sends us hope. And hope is interesting because it's beyond reach, but it's focused. It's not wish. That's not talking about wishes. God gives us hope that his presence within us and available to us can enrich us and further assist us in preparing for the day of the Lord, the return of Jesus, or according to our calendars, December 24th, 25th. But with our eyes open, have you ever waited for somebody? Because we're waiting for Jesus. Have you ever waited? I don't do lines. I don't do lines. My niece was just in Florida, and she said, the weather's great, but the lines are horrible. Oh, I said, I'm glad I'm not there, because I wouldn't wait. I don't do lines. I've left the doctor's office because periodically, it got later and later and later, he'd make me wait. I wasn't the only one. There were other people in the office. 10 minutes, 15, half hour, 45, an hour was max. When that happened, I went to the desk. I said, listen, I'll be in contact with doctor, have him transfer my files and go into a different place. I don't wait that much. Now, not that I'm special. I'm sorry. I'm impatient. So I don't wait. Nothing rewarding about that, but I don't wait. And yet, we are in the season of waiting with hope. Because while we're waiting in this season, we can look about us and see the goodness of God and see what he's blessed us with and see how many opportunities there are to bring us closer to him as we love others. That's the whole focus of our experience of Jesus during the season of Advent. There's a great book on waiting. It's Hachiko. It's a dog in Japan. And the name, I wrote the name of the station down because I no matter how many times Shibuya, if that's the correct name of saying it. And we went there. We saw the statue of little Hachiko. It's a bronze statue. The story is very beautiful. This dog was trained to wait for his master at the train station every day. The master was a professor. So he'd go to school, and Hachiko would walk him to the train. Hachiko would go home, and then, on time, he'd never pull a watch either, on time, he'd show up at the station every day and follow the professor home. This happened for years. Then one day, the professor didn't come back. He passed away in school. The dog didn't know it. And he waited, and he waited. Then eventually he went home. The next day he went back. He did that for the rest of his life. You got to read the story. I hope I didn't spoil it for you. But he did that for the rest of his life. He was waiting with hope. And the people of that city in Japan even have bronze statues of him and the symbol, and it's all over the buildings. What a symbol for us to wait for the return of the Master on his schedule, not ours. So he is available to us. You want to experience Jesus? Bring another bag of food. You want to experience Jesus? Take a label off the giving tree. You want to experience Jesus? Bring something to a lonely neighbor. You want to experience Jesus? Fill in the blank. You know how to do it. We do know how to do it. To experience Jesus as we're waiting for him. And it's funny, little Jenna and Sammy, my cousins in South Jersey, just had a baby. And one of the things they put on Facebook, I think it was Jenna put on Facebook, I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure it was the correct one. I can't take my eyes off of the love of my life. Now, I'm sure she did take her eyes off the little baby, whose name is Santino. But that's what love is all about. To not be able to move our eyes from the focus, from the prize, from the source of hope. And that's what we're invited to do during the season of Advent. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff blogging our ways and gifts and wrapping and prices and sales. Got to push it all that away. Keep the eye on the love of our lives, Jesus Christ. And then as we wrap a gift, make a cookie, or decorate a tree, we're doing it with the proper attitude of preparing for the Lord, of getting ready, and asking ourselves, where can I bring him? Where can I bring Jesus? To a family, friends, to a stranger? Because that's my hope, and that's my gift from God. And we all can say that same thing. We're invited to watch and stay awake, not for sales, not for the opportunities to really make a hit, for the opportunities to love Jesus more in our friends, in our neighbors, in the migrant, in the homeless, in the poor. That sort of takes the tarnish, takes the glitter off of all the fuss for Christmas. But if we take off the glitter, we go to the heart of what the message is. For whom are we preparing? For what are we waiting? Jesus is our hope, and he wants us to stay awake and alert for the many opportunities to show him to one another, to be him for each other. Imagine you wrapping yourself up in a gift and saying, here I am, this is your gift, and giving that to someone. You're not going to do that, right? Unless you're a little wacko, but you might do it. But Jesus did that. Wrapped himself up in human flesh and said, here it is, folks, here's your gift. The incarnation, the birth of Jesus in the stable. Here's your gift. Source of hope, always with us. Yeah, it's a season of waiting, and like I said, I don't wait. And we in the 21st century, we don't wait. You know, when I first learned the computer, they had those, the floppy disks and the DOS and all that stuff, and it was a pleasure to wait a minute or more. Oh wow, because within a few minutes, I'm going to be able to do stuff on my computer. Remember the big computers? Well, now, if it's not up in 3 seconds, I'm off. And I'm not alone, right? And they tell you that. The media experts tell you that. You can't do anything online that doesn't get their attention right away because they just push you out of the way. Well, our reason for hoping and waiting is different. It's not immediate gratification. It's hope. It's constant awareness that Christ is with us and asking us to be with him. I'm sure Jenna and Sammy have a baby monitor in their house. I haven't seen the baby yet. Why? Because if they're in that room, they want to hear the baby, wherever he or she, well, in this case, he is. Well, I think that's what we need, to have a monitor built into us, to hear Jesus where he might be speaking to us in the news, in a tragedy, in an accomplishment, to hear where Jesus is speaking to us through the media. As the people in Isaiah's day heard Isaiah speak of and to God on their behalf, and they perked up their ears, asking God, don't harden our hearts, don't help us, don't allow us to distract ourselves from you, be with us, because you are the God beyond all of expectations. He's here. He's with us. He's hope. He's available to us. Let us begin this Advent season finding Jesus in one another, and the Eucharist, and the poor, and life.